Why hello once more, people of YouTube. 'Tis I once more, the Crimson Despair. I am the Crimson Despair, and I'm here to give you guys part 2 of the Danganronpa 3 anime edition, I guess. We're going to talk about in this video the Despair arc of Danganronpa. Oh boy. Let's get started. So yeah, by the way, people of YouTube, just a heads up. Again, if you have not seen, first off, my part 1, go check that out. Link will be in the description. But also, if you have not, seen the anime, played the games, or at least seen someone play the game, don't watch this video. I'm spoiling shit, and just don't go. Spoiler warning. You've been warned. I'm gonna give you 5 seconds. Get the fuck out. Okay, you're gone. So, if you're here, you are here for one of 3 reasons. Number 1, you already knew what happened, so you don't care. 3, you heeded my advice, went back, saw everything, and then came to this video. Or 3, you ignored my warnings, ergo, you will be spoiled, so there. Oh boy. So, so people of YouTube, remember those characters I mentioned in the first part about the characters of the Remnants of Despair and the characters in Danganronpa 2? Yeah, they're basically the main focus in the Despair arc. The only difference is that it's basically a prequel to Danganronpa 2. It basically explains to everyone what caused the biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history, how are the characters in Danganronpa 2 linked to this event, and ties up also a lot of the loose ends that Danganronpa 2 ended with, and as well as addresses and answers a lot of questions that needed to be addressed in Danganronpa 2. And so, that's basically the whole plot of this. A prequel to Danganronpa 2, and it does the job pretty well as a prequel. Oh boy, people of YouTube. Oh boy. So, people of YouTube. Now, I have quite an issue with prequels. And the reason I say I have quite the issue with prequels is because, in a way, you can already guess the outcome of the ending when you watch a prequel. And when you watch any prequel in general, you already know what happens at the end, unless you have not seen the first rendition of that part, you don't know what's happening. However, since I played the games and I know what happens in the end of Danganronpa 2, it behooves me that all this shit happened, and I wanted to get to know what happened in between. So, even though it was a prequel, I kind of knew what to expect at the ending of the plot. But you know what they say, people of YouTube? It's not about the destination, it's about the journey. So, people of YouTube, how is this epic tale of a journey in the Despair arc? It was pretty good. Not gonna lie, it was on par with the Future arc. However, I don't think it's actually as good as the Future arc. So, people of YouTube, what are the pros of the Despair arc? Well, here they are. For starters, of course, goes without saying, animation, solid, amazing, colorful, beautiful. Moving on. Okay, so this is a prequel story to Danganronpa 2. So, for those of you who played Danganronpa 2, are just going to love this story. You're going to love it. Definitely addresses a lot of the questions and answers a lot of the questions that we had in Danganronpa 2 by the end of it, and it does address all those questions. What caused the biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history? Why were this class chosen to become these remnants of despairs? How did they ended up becoming remnants of despairs? Seriously, what the fuck happened? And so it's addressed in this whole arc, and it makes sense. It does, everything ties together, and that's what basically a prequel should do. It should basically tie up or untie all the loose ends in its previous predecessors that it didn't get to address in the actual thing. It gets to address everything that happened and leaves no stone unturned. Everything's addressed, everything is answered. So if you love Danganronpa 2 and were unsatisfied that you didn't get your questions answered, watch the Despair arc. You're gonna get your questions answered, regardless. So, good job on the creators for untying those loose ends. The characters, majority of the characters are the characters from Danganronpa 2. So basically, if we were talking about the characters in Danganronpa 2, my personal opinion, I loved all of them. I definitely did. I love all the characters in Danganronpa 2. And people of YouTube, if you love Chiaki like I do, oh boy, people of YouTube, you're gonna definitely love this arc because she not only gains a lot of focus and attention, but she definitely goes through an interesting, a pretty solid character arc. And I felt like, it was definitely warranted. And I was quite surprised, by the way, to see Chiaki in this anime because people of YouTube, if you have played Danganronpa 2, you obviously know what I'm talking about. But however, I truly, truly love that she was in it. And so, if you love her, you're gonna like her in Danganronpa 2. But at the same time, episode 10, oh boy, broke my heart. It broke my heart, people of YouTube. That episode 10, woo, broke my heart. It made me cry. People of actually, I was so upset at the end of that episode. But anyway, regardless, that's going way off topic here. And so, people of YouTube, you're gonna like Chiaki. And again, all the established characters in Danganronpa 2 are also incredible. What about the newer characters? Well, again, a lot of the things that even addressed in the future arc about the relationship between Munetaka, Yuki Sohma, and Sakakura is actually addressed in the Despair arc, and also how they tied into the past and how they ties into everything. And so, that is a plus, I would say. Especially Yuki Sohma. Now, Yuki Sohma is an interesting character. Definitely a character that I wouldn't expect to do half the shit that she does, especially if you watch the future arc and then you stayed after the... people of YouTube. Yuki Sohma. Especially if you watch the Despair arc, if you watch the Despair arc before the future arc, you're actually going to might like Yuki Sohma at first, but when you watch the future arc, you're gonna absolutely despise this character because, my god, this character is quite the pickle, I would say. I don't really know how to say about this character, but Yuki Sohma at first starts off very good, but later down the line, oh boy. But it was definitely necessary to address some of the key elements and the key plots that happened in Danganronpa, the whole series. So, Yuki Sohma is okay, not the greatest. But the people of YouTube, I think the character who basically stole the show, especially in the second half, because by the way, people of YouTube, the second half of Danganronpa, the Despair arc, is incredible. Especially, and want to know when it starts becoming incredible? When this character shows up. Junko. Now, if you have played all the Danganronpas, you know that she was basically the character who caused it all. She basically is the sole reason why 99.9% of the shit happened to this world. And even when you do see her, she doesn't really do much. However, in the Despair arc, you truly got to see the terror, the haunting, and the incredible and excruciatingly methods that this girl does. She definitely lives up to her title as the ultimate Despair because, my god, people of YouTube, it is insane. She definitely gained the character development. She definitely gained the points to being a badass, intimidating, threatening villain, and a character much like Munetaka. I would not be on her bad side, cause I do not want to fall into despair. Holy shit, people of YouTube. Holy shit. My god. So yeah, I definitely really like the Despair arc, however, I do have a few issues with it. The first one being its pacing. The pacing, especially in the first half, is very slow, drags on for way too long, and if you've already played, and this is actually quite of a nitpick, but it is kind of a criticism for me, for someone who actually has played Danganronpa 2, I already know who these characters are, and so we didn't really need this whole time to really get to know the characters that we've already known, especially if you have played the game, because you'll get a better understanding if you played the game of the characters. But definitely, the pacing was definitely really slow. It definitely drags on for way too long in some scenes. I definitely didn't like, Yuki Sohma. She's kind of an uninteresting character, let alone a lead character. The whole plot, character arc with Mitarai sucked. He definitely gained no development. He became more of a despicable character than he was in the future arc, because he becomes a pretty despicable dude in the future, towards at the end of the future arc. But you definitely see the despicableness in this character towards the end of the Despair arc. He's definitely an unfascinating character, and I did not like Mitarai at all. Sucked. And besides that, I don't really have much else to say about the Despair arc. It is definitely a solid arc, but I wouldn't say it's necessarily the best arc. Definitely the future arc is superior. While I still have this time, I guess we can definitely finish up this review by talking about the Hope arc of people of YouTube, which basically is the true final episode of the future arc. And I'm not gonna really say much about the Hope arc. It basically just literally wraps up the whole story of Danganronpa 3 in a little pretty bow tie. And honestly, people of YouTube, the Hope arc in general is kind of almost like a love letter to the fans of Danganronpa who've been watching it and who's been supporting the series for so long. Is if the Hope arc in general is a love letter, and it's the final nail in the coffin to finish off the series, at least the canonical series. I don't know again how V3 fits into everything. But definitely canonically it ties everything up, and definitely the episode wasn't bad. It was just kind of meh. And it really didn't really leave much of an impression to me at the end. But the Hope arc in general, settles everything, finishes everything off, and again, it feels like a love letter. It definitely feels like the creators were like saying thank you, and thank you for supporting the series. We thank you so much, and here's this episode to finally finish things off. And not a bad series. I love the Danganronpa franchise, people of YouTube. I really do. And so, people of YouTube, what do I give the Despair arc? Well, I give the Despair arc a solid 9 out of 10. Besides, the slow pacing and the despicable characters in between. I really did like the Despair arc. The Hope arc is just an episode, so I'm not going to give it a score. However, if I'm going to rate Danganronpa, the entire thing together, 9.5 out of 10, people of YouTube. Because, yeah, even though I truly love the future arc, the Despair arc was kind of just, like, mediocre at best. But at the same time, it definitely fulfills its job as a prequel. So if I'm going to give, the 3 series a general score, it's going to be a 9.5 out of 10. I really love the series. Definitely a contender for, like, top 10 best animes of this year, and at least for me. That is going to wrap these videos up. Thank you guys so much for being patient with me and my long hiatus. Definitely won't happen again, at least anytime soon. Stay tuned. Bunch of new videos coming up. 12 days of anime coming up very soon, and I can't wait to start doing those videos. And a bunch more. So until then, people of YouTube, 'tis I once more, the Crimson Assassin. Or at least I should say, the Crimson Hope. Or Despair. Did I say the Hope or Despair? I'm gonna say Despair anyway. Peace, YouTube. Follow me on these social medias, by the way. And I'll see you later. Bye.